All right, YouTube. So in preparation for my pistons arriving probably today, I need this good cylinder off of this ski, because both of them failed on the same cylinder, this front cylinder. The other one was completely engine out. There's no way for me to do any forensic investigation and try to figure out, hey, what caused this failure? Well, I'm looking at what they've got here. One of your really common points of failure is, let me see if I can get this on here right. These lines right here. See, they've been replaced, but they still put it back on with a tie wrap. Generally speaking, that'll still pull right off. Let's see. It's on there pretty good. But that is a smaller diameter tube than I generally use. Should still work. Both of the oil lines are on. So, it's got me wondering what happened here. Both of these were pitted. I found the piston. I don't know whether they've got parts from both skis in the bucket of this one. I found one piston. This does look like a factory Yamaha piston. Look at those grooves, man. It looks like the piston just freaking came apart. I don't know whether they beat this or if it actually came apart, but look at the detonation on the top, or bits and pieces. Terrible. So I'm going to suspect that the carbs are not adjusted right. I don't know. Certainly I'll, run the oil pump with a drill and make sure the pump's pumping. There is a new fuel filter. You can see it right there. There's plenty of oil in the oil tank. You can see that right there. The oil pump is in position, still there. Both connecting rods are still good. These are this engine has been gone through before, because these are not. See how you can tell the difference in two metals here? You can take a magnet and test it too. The factory ones will be non-magnetic in here because they're nickel coated. These have sleeves in them. You can see the sleeve, the iron steel sleeve, starting where the metal changes colors. But somebody had already pulled it apart this far, took a look inside and said, oh my God, this is a mess. And then they just, it's one of the things that gets sit in the yard and everybody thinks, oh, I'll get it fixed, I'll get it fixed, I'll get it fixed. Because, who knows how much money they spend on these things, and then finally they get rid of it. It looks like there's still fuel in the fuel tank. I've got to clean all that old fuel out. Drive coupling looks good. It's a little off. They would have had some good vibration on this one, because this one is sitting lower than this one. You can feel it. So the engine is not shimmed properly. That is how you take care of that, is with the shims under the engine mount. So this thing would have been vibrating like crazy because it's off. I mean, they all have good amount of vibration, but having that off makes it even worse. So I've got to pull 8 bolts, and all of this will come out as one unit. So it's the 4 bolts at the base of these right here. It's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Should be able to get something through there. Pop that off, and it'll come off with this exhaust piece. I normally pull the whole engine, but this one's already been broke down and I need this piece. So I'm gonna go ahead and show that work. And then we'll pull the short block later. And I guess I'll show you that on the video. Like I said, I don't normally show all of that because I make assumptions that people know how to do that, or I'll just say, hey, pull these 4 bolts. It's a da-da-da. Now, the weird thing is, these are 16 millimeter. I thought they were 15s or 14s on the ones I've done before. So this is probably another SBT build or replacement engine or something. And that's why there's a different size bolt on the head. Because I just don't remember these being 16, but what do I know? It's been 2 years since I built any of these. So maybe I'm just forgetting things already. But carb lines, oil lines look good. Let's see, throttle it. Yeah, oil pump is moving with the throttle like it's supposed to, so it's not a cabling issue. Your cables can break. Probably really, really low possibility of that. The only one thing I'm seeing is that the oil lines are really tight. I would have left more looseness. I wouldn't have left these things without extra in there in case you ever have to cut and trim them, whatever. Anyway, let's set the camera up and pull this out. All right, I'm gonna apologize in advance. I got you at a weird angle, but that's my little flexible foot tripod, and kind of tucked inside the engine bay trying to get this on video. Let's go. 1, 2. This is gonna go up. I've got a wobble extension on the end to give me a little bit of angle. 3. I'll show you. Well, let's talk about a wobble extension for those of you that don't know. This is a wobble extension. It's not straight, square on the end. See how it's got that? So it allows the socket to wobble just a little bit to give you a little bit of a movement like that. See that? A regular extension looks like that. It's just straight and it won't give you that. So wobble extension helps with stuff like that. That's why you need it sometimes. You just gotta have it sometimes, and I didn't want to take a chance on get it done. Okay, there's that one. So that one cylinder is ready to pull. Let's get this other one. 1. 2. 3. 4. Having to feel for it. And 4. All right, that's all 8 bolts. I'll pull what I can reach. There's 2 in the middle I'm not going to be able to pull. Hopefully I won't lose them or lose stuff. Well, it won't be too hard. Everything's coming out of this hole. I'll throw those in the bucket with all the other bolts that people have pulled over. Let's see. This should rock off. Pull straight up off there. There we go. What have I got holding me? Some stuff. Cables. Don't think they're attached with a loop, but they could be. There are some brackets on that other side that attach some of that stuff. And sorry, you got a good close-up view. Yeah, I've got a hose I've got to take off. The Y fitting hose. Say it's been a while since I've done this stuff. I'll show you. That Y fitting has a split hose. So if I just take off one off of that Y, then I can get this thing out. So let me go get a screwdriver or a nut driver to do that. All right, I just popped that off. Just a little, I want to say it's like a quarter drive nut driver. This one doesn't say. It's one that I just got through an estate sale. I bought a whole boxes full of tools for like 30 bucks. Looks like somebody has lost a socket down in the hull of mystery. Center screen right there. Wasn't me, so bonus, free tools. But yeah, once I got that one, took one off, it's ready to come out. So there's that. Now I got pieces for the wrist pin and the rod bearing. I don't know if that all came apart or not. That's something else. I would never use that bearing. Look at that. Never use that one. It's all messed up. So Anyway, let's pull this out, and I'm gonna feel the there's pieces of the piston down in the bottom. You can see it down in there. See all that? Boy, oh boy. This one had a time. All right, I'm just gonna pick that up, pull it out. Okay, I took the vacuum right there with a little pad attachment and got down in there, sucked out all the pieces I could, but I can see right now, see that piece wedged? It's right in there. So it's keeping the crankshaft from turning. You've also got a piece wedged in an oil passage right there. This thing had a catastrophic piston failure from lack of oil and detonation. Here's all the pieces that I was able to get out. There's actually one of the rings for that hold in the wrist pin. There's one of the Yamahas have a flat washer here on the inside of the wrist pin between it and the inside of the piston wall on either side of the rod bearing. So I got one of them right there. I don't know where the other one is. Could be wrapped around that shaft. Could have sucked it up in the vacuum, but look at all these pieces. That thing just blew apart. That's the first time I've seen that. I usually see the piston just scoring and tearing things up. I mean, I was able to rotate this, but there's all kind of pieces that are wedging. I'll be surprised if the block isn't damaged, because there is zero clearance for the most part. I mean, it's just millimeters of clearance when that piston reaches that bottom stroke like that right there. And for it to clear as it spins around, it's I've had one before in a video, and you can go get them welded. You can get that crack welded up, go to somebody that welds aluminum and weld a crack up in a crack block like that. So it's also something I'm not worried about, because I've got 2 extra 800 cases sitting in my shop, you know, so I've got the parts. If the case is bad, I won't even have to pay a welder. So that's something I'm not going to worry about. Certainly would not use any of these pistons. Even this one's showing wear. So probably somebody just did a ring job. You know, it could be a rebuilt engine. It's still pretty dang clean. It makes me doubt it's an original. With the cylinders being sleeved as they are, somebody has certainly been in the engine before. So, and what I was talking about when I said, oh, it could be those cables. All your cables are supposed to be tie wrapped to these 2 brackets right here, the cables that run alongside from the front to the back, and they weren't. So that lets me know also somebody's been in there working on this thing before. So let's see, since we're at the bottom, all right, let's look. See our ear, see how it's all cracked to bits? This cylinder, the whole that's the sleeve. See how it doesn't even have this metal piece around it. So like I told you in the last video, if you watch the detailed description of a breakdown, you can run these like this, even with that ear broken off with just a sleeve. But you can see that sleeve is cracked from all of the bits and pieces being in there. It pushed up, stressed the metal, and it cracked. And it not only cracked this, but it broke the ear off. So sleeving this, you could still sleeve this cylinder and reuse it without this big chunk of aluminum that it's missing. That is perfectly acceptable to do that. I won't have to. This one's shot, obviously. You can take these things, put them in a grill at 500 degrees or so, heat it up, and that sleeve will slide right out of there. And that's how you drop a new one in. You heat this up, and you can drop your new sleeve in. If you want to sleeve it, try to do it yourself. Sleeves are available. You can buy them yourself. This one's already been bored for a sleeve, so it would be easy to do. This one, the problem with doing that is you do need to line them up perfectly. In other words, when you drop the sleeve in, it could be out of alignment with these pieces. You want to line it up as perfectly as possible. And as that cools back down, the sleeve tightens up in there. There's no stuff. Well, there is some kind of stuff I know with automotive where you put in the sleeve that holds it in place. I don't think they do that with these. This one, you can see some scoring, but it's still perfectly good. I'll just do a little honing and be able to use this cylinder in this build that I'm currently working on. So that's what I got going right now. See you in the next bit. Okay, YouTube, we did a video already of removing this as one assembly from the waverunner, and so you can see how that can be done. Remembering that we had a damaged ear, it's broken off here. This is sleeved, but you can re-sleeve that, and you'll still work just fine because you're lined up with your pins, and the sleeve will hold the cylinder just fine without this meaty piece of aluminum that is missing on that one particular one. Now let's zoom in just a little. And what we're gonna do is gonna go ahead and take off the 8 bolts that are holding this exhaust assembly onto these cylinders, because I need that cylinder right there to build my engine. So let's get it off. Let's see if I can do it without a extension. Noting we got our long bolts up top. 4 longs, 4 shorts. They're 12 millimeter heads on these. Remember, you got brackets to hold your wiring harness in your ski on this one. Let's see if I can get in here on this. That one would be easier with an extension on it because it's kind of a tight fit. Same with this one. But we got it. Okay, so 4 and 4 for a total of 8. I'm going to put those in my parts bucket, and then we're going to see about taking this off. All right, back on. This can be on there pretty good because this is the exhaust side, so you got a lot of engine heat that kind of melts that gasket down on there pretty good. Your gasket kit comes with this middle gasket here. If I don't have to take it apart, I don't do so. I just let it stay. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tap on this with a hammer. There it went. Done. That's easier than trying to pull it. And of course that was a rubber hammer. That's easier than trying to pull those apart with your hands, because I've done it before and it's not fun. All right, so this part will be just set over here out of the way when I do the build to do my pressure test. I do install that because well, maybe I don't install that. I'll have to remember. It's been a while. I got to get to my power valves. I don't need to take that off right now. The bracket that holds the cable, somebody has already loosened this and left the bracket. Normally there's a bracket that sits right here that has 2 holes in the 2 cables that wrap around to actuate your power valves. So that's already come off. So boom, just to separate it. This is my bad one. The one where the piston just disintegrated. I think what happened is that the wrist pin clips came loose and the thing came apart. That's what I think happened, but I can't be sure. So we're going to do a home job on the 2 good pistons now, because my cylinder, to my 2 good cylinders now, because my pistons came in the mail yesterday. All right, let's give you a look at this. So what I've got is I've got my cylinder in a vise, and what I wanted to do and show you, the standard bore on these is like 80 millimeter. So you need a caliper. Let's see, why is it, there it goes. So it's on. This is going to come out to probably 79 point something, da da da. It won't be exactly 80. It never is. You can measure it in several different places and take an average. Why is this thing? It's not wanting to roll out too good. It's got a little thumb roller here. And that thing is tight, like it's been locked down. Let's see, it probably has. Yep, there's the screw. Let's go back in. Make sure it's zeroed. And let's roll it out. So we're measuring an inside diameter. So we're using the flats on this side. Measuring there. Let's see what it says. 79.66. Let's see. Let's go in a little. Let's measure it across here. 79.07. See, it's going to come up with slightly different readings. And this is not perfect because your angle's going to be off because of the power valve piece being in the way. 78.47, but it's an 80 millimeter is a standard bore. And when you're sleeved, they're going to sleeve it back to standard bore. And that is a sleeve. You can see the two tones of the metal. That is a steel sleeve that has been inserted into that. So we have a standard bore. We can zero that back out, but I don't need this anymore. In other words, I'm showing you the process. I had already done this. I will be pulling apart the power valve and putting the upgraded stuff in there. I'll either buy captured links to go here, or I'll buy a waveeater kit. So when you are boring, not boring, because this is a boring machine. A boring machine will be boring that out to put a sleeve in it. So we're going to hone this. When you're honing, you're going to need, let's see, back it out, a flex hone. This is one of the easiest ways to do it. Now, if you Google how to use a flex hone, it will tell you. The flex hone came with instructions. I probably long lost them. I've done several cylinders with this particular brush. I think this is a 3 1/4 inch flex hone. This is what it looks like outside of the box. I'll put a link in the description for you to go purchase one from Amazon if you don't have one. This one right here works on these Yamahas. Every Yamaha I've worked on, the 800s, the 1200s, the GP 1300, this flex hone worked with all of them. It also worked on the Kawasaki 900s and the Kawasaki 1100s. So this one 3 1/4 inch. And so, yeah, you can see it'll fit quite nicely. You know, I can get it right in there. This is the right size hone for this job. Smaller cylinders, you're going to have to get a different size hone. Okay. Flex hone sells individual brushes, but they also sell a kit with several size brushes. If you do a whole lot of this work, saves you a little bit of money, but unless you're doing a lot of engines, you're not going to need that. Now, my cylinder, I'm checking it with my nail. Do I have anywhere in the cylinder that my nail grabs on a groove? No, it's smooth everywhere. You can feel it with the skin of your fingers as well, all the way down. You can do this without a vise. The vise makes it a little easier. And of course, you don't want to over tighten your vise at the bottom because you can break this aluminum out. You can break that aluminum very easily in a vise. So just snug it. And of course, the hone is just going in and out. You must lube the hone with oil. I've used 2-stroke oil. Today, I'm just going to be using some motor oil. They say 30 weight is just fine. Motor oil, lube up your hone. And when you run your hone, you want to run, I usually do about 20 strokes up and down on a low speed. And then I go full speed with the drill and do about the same amount of strokes. Now, why you're doing that is because the low speed is going to give you one cross hatch and the high speed is going to give you another. So when your finished product is done, you're going to have that nice 45-degree cross hatching angles inside of your cylinder walls, and you'll be able to see it. Let's see if we can see what it looks like now. Let's get in there. See what it looks like. See what it looks like now. You've got some wear, but it's not wore out. It's not grooved. You can see where the piston has gone up and down inside the cylinder wall. So let's lube up the flex hone and get ready to do this job. Let me re-angle my camera. This is why I usually just do it with one in hand, because this can be kind of a pain figuring all this out. All right, boom. Switch over to flex hone. All right, there's flex hone on my drill. Some drills have 2 speeds. If yours is 2-speed, that's fine. A lot of them now, the speed is just controlled with how far that you push that trigger. So I'm going to do maybe a half trigger and then a whole trigger. That's how I'm going to hone it. 2 different speeds. All right, so let's get our oil and oil this hone up. I just going to make a good mess. My shop floor is dirt, so it's going to absorb it. You would want to put a bucket underneath this. I've got, like I said, I've got a dirt floor. Just going to absorb it a little bit. This is brand new motor oil. I'm guessing you could probably use burnt used motor oil if you've got it. But you can also use 2-stroke. Whatever oil you've got, use it. I've got a box full of stuff under there that's getting soaked in oil. That's fine. All right, let's do it. You want this spinning when it enters the bore of your cylinder. In other words, you don't put it in here, then start. You want it going like this. You want it going, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right, now I'll just pull that out. I should have pulled it out while it was spinning, but you get the gist. Now I'm going to put a little bit more oil. It probably doesn't need it. I'm going to just do it because you want this thing lubed up. You don't wear your stones. I apologize for that. I did have my compressor on. It came on right in the middle of that. So let's go. High speed. Ready? Go. 1. Whoop. It went too far. It ripped up some of my stones. You got to be careful with that. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. All right. We zipped it out. We did it right that time coming out. Now, you have to clean this. Let me pause and get it right. All right, let's look at what we got. Okay, I can still see the score marks, but I'm also seeing, I don't know if the camera can pick it up, you can start to see some of the cross hatching that's going on. So I'm going to hone it some more. Going to go with some little more honing, but you get the gist of what I'm trying to do, and I'll just try to show it when I'm done. All right, we got a pretty decent cross hatch going here. See if this will even show it. You can kind of see the, is it going to show it? Anyway, you can still see some of the score mark. You can't feel anything. It's smooth. It's got to be cleaned up a little bit more. But what we're going to do now is go ahead and take off our power valve clip. Everything that holds that thing. I'm going to get my stand where it'll stand up. See if I can get this. I was trying to get over here to show it better. And this thing is wanting to lean way back and fall over. And that ain't going to work. So let me sit up against it like this. So this is a 3mm Allen in the center. So 3mm to pop that off. And when you go back on with it, you do need to put some blue Loctite on it. So I'm taking out my 3mm Allen so that I can slide that shaft out of the middle. Need a pair of snap ring pliers to go in here, spread this, pull it off, grab your washer. Parts bucket time. Little bitty parts. Easy to lose. All right. Parts bucket. All right, so let me put my Allen wrench back in my holder here, because this stuff's too easy to lose. All right, this should come out now. See that? Boop. Sometimes it's going to be carbon fouled so bad that it's not going to come out that easily. The cylinders are interchangeable. This piece isn't. You've got to put this piece on the front cylinder, and you'll notice there was no washer, and I don't think there has to be on the front where that comes out. So that goes in the parts bucket. This is an old style non-captured link. A captured link has sides on it like this so that the pin cannot drop out. And that's what a waveeater clip kit does, is takes the place of a captured link. It's a little bit cheaper, but the captured links I have, sometimes you can catch a deal on them. So just know that. Just wipe that off some. That thing's, yeah. Anyway, in the parts bucket it goes. This should pull out now. Yeah, that one's going to be a pain in the butt. Now look, I want you to see something. I want you to see something. This is what happens to these. I want you to look at that pin that's going through that power valve, and you'll notice that that pin has slid. There's more meat on the pin on this side than this side. So this is a common failure point, and why you put waveeater clips. See, I didn't even know that. This is a perfect learning experience right here. That pin heats up while the engine's operating, and you can see that with the vibration, this pin is starting to move this way. That's what the captured link and the waveeater clips keep from happening. They keep that from happening. So let's take this. Let's see if I can get this with this handle of this. We may need something else. Oh, it's going to bend. It's going to bend that too. I'm going to need a screwdriver to pry. All right, I'm getting rusty, y'all. I haven't done this in a while. There are two Allen screws. There's one that holds the bronze bushing at the base. See where I've got the Allen wrench? Let's see. Clean my fingers off a little bit and see if I can zoom it in. So I'm having to hold this camera. So there's another Allen wrench down in that hole. All right. So let me back off. That is a 4mm. So let's take it out too. There we go. Then the power valve will pull out. Duh. Yeah, they don't pull out too well until both. Well, you got to get them both. This is what actually holds the valve in its place, or basically the bronze bushing. See that? You want to blue Loctite that as well. And that's a tight fit. Let's see if this will pull out now. Still don't want to come out. Still don't want to come out. All right, let's do this. Got to be careful. You don't want to mess anything up. Oh, boy. That thing is in there, baby. I'm going to have to do some tapping on this one, it looks like. All right, I didn't do any tapping. I just got under it with a screwdriver. Again, you got to be careful doing this because you're prying against a machine surface. That's got to be okay. This is, I think, the old style power valves. It doesn't have the ears sticking up. In some of my other videos, you'll see them. And I think it doesn't have the ears sticking up on these ends here. Some of them have that. Maybe got little ears that stick up that give this a little push back or something. I think that was to help keep it from hitting the engine. Maybe I'm wrong. But there's the bronze bushing. All nice and filthy this gets. Yeah, so you got to have movement. Look at that. Pin slippage, baby. That'll destroy an engine when that thing drops down in the cylinder. Goodbye cylinder, baby. And I mean, it's a clunk. Boom, you're done. You're done. All right, this is a captured link. This is the SBT's part number, 46-406-14 for a lever link. This one's brand new. And I think when SBT does their builds now, this is what they're putting in them. So you can buy these. I think they're $20-something a piece. I may be wrong. But if you look at it, it's just a piece of aluminum. And it's machined so that the pin fits inside of that, which this one obviously won't fit because it's off center. And it's way obviously off center. Now you could tap it back down. Tap that back down to where it is centered and still use this power valve, clean it up. Like I say, it is the old style. That's a captured link. And that is the part number for your captured link from SBT. You can order that. I don't know whether it's on Amazon or not. If there is, I'll put a link for that in the description of this video. So there is another captured link I've got, so I will not have to buy waveeater clips. I've got 2 captured links I can put on this build, call it good. So this one with this one will give me 2 of the new style that won't allow that pin to drop in my engine and ruin it. You definitely want to use those. To me, that may even be better than a waveeater clip, because I mean the clip, they just snap down over the Allen bolt. This isn't going to come out. Okay, let's go old school style. You can see this cylinder has a captured link on it off of the other ski. So does this one. So one ski had the old style, the other ski has the newer style. Now, let's go look. All right, I'm out looking at the skis. That's a 2000. And this is a 2000. So what I thought was a one, they're both 2000s. This is the one, number 23 here, had the captured links. So it definitely had an SBT rebuild engine in it with those captured links to try to keep as a fail-safe, okay? So both of them, I think, had rebuilt engines. All right, let's have a look at this because it's very interesting what I found here on this other cylinder that I was going to take the parts out of. Okay, I can't get it by hand. What I want you to see is that, see that pin? That pin ain't supposed to be loose like that. If this had not had the captured link like it did, this would have been a catastrophic failure of another sort. Trying to get this thing out. There it is. Come on. All right, now. Also, I didn't note it on the other one, but you need to see. Oh, look at this. That was the catastrophic failure. Wow, that's the first time I've seen that. The power valve from the piston coming loose. This is just, oh my God. There is no power valve left on this one. It dropped down in the cylinder and destroyed everything. But it broke off here. Was that the point of original failure, or was it the piston wrist pin and the clip? Don't know. Don't know. But if anything had come loose in that piston, yes, it could have hit this power valve, broken it off, sheared it. But this is what I was talking about. These pins get loose. That is supposed to be a tight, pressed in fit that doesn't do this right here, okay? That's bad. That's real bad. Anyway, this is garbage. But you can see, in order for them to build a power valve, this pin has to come off and be pressed in so that the bushing can be installed on it. But this one's had it. So, garbage bin. All right, let's take apart one of the other style so you can see it. And I've already taken the clip off here. So you'll take your washer. I've got a whole bucket of box of power valve parts over there. That's all power valve stuff. This should slide out. Oh boy, my clip came off. So that's a clip. So you've got a washer on both ends of this other one. And this shaft, it doesn't matter, you know, which side that hole is on. It's the same threaded hole to put the bolt in. Just this cylinder, the shaft is going to point toward the other one. This open end is going to point toward your other cylinder, because this is the slave that doesn't have the cables. Let's see. Where's my screwdriver? Get under here. I've loosened this up. I don't want to tear nothing up. Well, this cylinder's no good anyway without a new sleeve. But I don't like tearing stuff up if I don't have to. Let's see. There it comes. Now, the one thing I didn't make note of that we do need to make note of is these power valves are directional and they will go in either way. So let's see. I think it's the scalloped in facing down. In other words, see that? that should be facing down. That side that doesn't have that cut in it should be facing up. I'm pretty sure that's the way it goes. It's been a while since I've done this. There it goes. Okay, so up, see that? Look, this is how it came out. This is the top, flat, bottom, scallop edge. Is that right? It's not right. Backwards. Okay, so when you're pulling this out, and you can see I've got another, this one have a captured link on it. Look at this. Not such a great fit, huh? Not a press to fit. Pull it out. See the top, bottom, scalloped edge, down. I have to review the footage on that other one I pulled because I didn't make note of that. All right. You want that side down. When you're going back together with this, you can put it in backwards. It'll fit perfectly. But you're going to end up with some piston hitting some bottom of this. Is what you're going to end up with. Let's see if we can get you some of these good cross hatching. See? See that? Very mild scoring from where the piston went up and down. Let's see. It looks good. It feels good too. If you feel like it, you can clean the whole thing up and paint it. I generally don't do that with my engines, but if you were trying to make somebody think it was brand new, you might want to do that. All right. All right. One of the other things you're going to want to do while you've got this thing in a vise to hold it for you is to clean these surfaces with your wire wheel brush while you're on this step doing things. If you can scrape this stuff off, pick it off, get what you can off of it, and then hit it with a wire wheel brush and clean it up. These surfaces have got to be clean. So you're good. So this, you're going to do a pressure test. And every one of these surfaces has to meet up and hold air pressure, 2 to 3 pounds. On 3 for a couple minutes. Your pressure testing your block. Make sure it doesn't have any leaks. You got to have these gasket surfaces clean on this and the exhaust part. So your vise is your friend. If you don't have a vise, then you're going to have to hold it down. And let me show you something that's dangerous about using this. If you're working in too close and you're wearing a t-shirt or something, look at what will happen if it snags your shirt. See that? That'll happen to you because it's happened to me. That brush will snag that thing and yank that drill into your stomach or over to your hand while you're working, and you're going to end up maybe bleeding a little like that when that wire wheel brush gets you. So be careful doing this. You can hurt yourself. I mean, it's not any life-threatening thing, but nobody likes, well, I won't say nobody. Most people don't like hurting themselves. But yeah, clean all your surfaces up, and I'm not going to show the whole part of that.